Bobo C. Tiberius here with a wrap-up of a 4-1 Modern League using Mono White Martyr Proc, fresh off of the ban of Bridge. I'm excited about where the deck is in the format. We just saw four fair representations of where the format can be. We saw some combo, we saw some aggro. We didn't see any control necessarily. I mean, if you want to call Tron a control deck, you can. I don't think it is. It's very much a combo deck. But it does have a prison finisher or a lockout finisher. But we saw the format really kind of come back to where it was before the Hogak domination. But we were left with the tools we got from Modern Horizons, which I really do think are pushing the deck into a really powerful direction. I think Winds of Abandon is absolutely what you need in your Wrath spot. I do think having non-creature removal main deck is pushing the deck in a really positive direction. The only card I would change in the 60 is probably the Settle the Wreckage. I think without Hogak, it becomes less important that all of your Wraths exile. I think having to wait until creatures attack makes Settle a lot worse. Though I don't know. I'm interested to kind of break it down. It would be replaced with a Wrath, with just a straight up Wrath. But I'm interested to see where it would actually matter to have the Wrath versus the Settle. The place that jumps in my mind most obviously is Coco combo, as they won't attack. They usually won't attack with their combo creatures unless they're greedy or trying to kill you, and you don't want to have them to have to attack with their combo creatures to get there. I was very happy with the Elspeth main as an extra Wrath and as an extra way to just close out games. I think that is the right call over the Weathered Wayfarer as well. Yeah, I feel strong about it. I feel like the 65 is really, really strong. There is an interesting thing happening with my sideboard, which I've brought into perspective here. 3 Rips is perfect. I feel like 2 Stonies is great. I like having the extra Avacyn. I was very medium on Sun Titan. Hex Parasite, still great. And I do think 3 Damping Spheres is a good number. You might do 2 in a Surgical, which is what I'm doing in paper. But I've come to the question of, do we need the Ghostly Prisons? And I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the answer to that question is. Cutting them would open up a lot of flexibility in the deck, but they do lock out really strong. We saw in the Humans matchup particularly that they're just going to choke people out of the game. So it's an interesting conundrum to deal with. I am going to keep them in. I really think they're strong, and I think they buy us time to get to a 6-mana Wrath, when the majority of our Wraths now, we have a 5-mana and 2 6-mana Wraths. Yes, they're one-sided. Yes, they're blow you out, but I do think you still have to deal with the problem of getting to them, and I think Ghostly Prison does that against aggro decks. And we saw that in some of these matchups, so I do think it's keepable. But very happy with how the league turned out. Very bummed that our final match was against the deck's worst matchup when we're sitting on 4-0, but sometimes it goes that way. Tron is kind of going to pop up more now that Hogak isn't scaring it away, and the Karn Lock is real. There is an outside argument that the Karn Lock, not an outside argument, there is a very prominent popular argument that the Karn Lock belongs in this deck. And cutting the Ghostly Prisons, I would probably put Karn in place of Ruined Halo. Or I guess you could do Generous Gift, since the Karns would allow you to just go into your sideboard and get things to deal with the non-creature permanents. Particularly Sorcerous Spyglass for Planeswalkers, stuff like that. So I do think there's something to be said about that. But I will see you in the next one. I think I'm going to transition to Black-White for a bit, play with that. After seeing it post some pretty good finishes recently, I want to kind of get in on that fun. I do want to play with Sorin quite a bit. So I will see you in the next league.